Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to SP Reviews, where today I'm going to be checking out some tracks from an act named Passive the Rapper. And if we switch over to here, this is nice. I'm revisiting Passive's work. It's been a while since I've listened to his material. We've got 3 tracks today, starting with Borderline Heights off of the last CD. We're going to listen through each of these tracks from start till finish and we're going to hear what we think. Let's go. Yeah, the last CD. I forget that people still have CDs.
Modern day finesse and dog. Tell them count they blessings now. Plenty folks to pass around. Give a shit if I ain't got it. Wait a minute, oh I got it. Rapping for my city now. Yeah, Carolina City proud. 803 11th hour.
Okay, so there's a nice clarity to those guitar lines with the vocals in the center. Nice presence to it. It's nice to have the volume and the automation there in the beginning.
Tell the city settle down. 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 Tell the city settle down.
And the use of the harp is like a once in a while kind of thing is a nice sort of addition in mid to high range there, just to kind of add a bit of sparkle there amongst the 808s and drums.
Passive the rapper, aka Passive, aka Master Adapter, Casper the Ghost, gas by move right past ya, play by play, play by play, listen, look, checks, get cash as fast as cash gets spent. I bet my last flash get flown at half staff when I spit. It saddens me how they casually acknowledge I'm lit. Like all I did was set the standard for how to exist.
Like all I did was set the standard for how to exist. Damn, that's a good line. I enjoy that.
I like to think that the pressure I put on myself will later be a weapon I could use to distribute the wealth. If health is a must, then trust this puff of smoke. I blow in the air with buzz. Borderline eyes, I saw some out of mine. But I just keep on smiling. I tried a few times to live life right. But I just kept on. Listen, look, checks, get cash as fast.
I'm wondering if the vocals are a little bit present in the mix. I'm wondering if the vocals are a little bit too present in the mix. I know these headphones. Sometimes if the vocals sound a little bit louder than the rest of the elements, they're going to sound really loud through like phone headphones or something like that, or phone speakers.
I bet my last flash get flown at half staff when I spit. It saddens me how they casually acknowledge I'm lit. Like all I did was set the standard for how to exist. Checks get cash as fast as cash gets spent. I bet my last flash get flown at half staff when I spit. It saddens me how they casually acknowledge I'm lit. Like all I did was set the standard for how to exist. Passive the rapper, aka Passive, aka Master Adapter, Casper the Ghost, gas by move right past ya, play by play.
I like the little kind of parts where they sort of cut out completely and just left with nothing. It's like, what's happened? Then boom, it comes back in on the second beat. Clever stuff, man. I think we have another one coming up here, if I'm not mistaken. So that's fun. Kind of feels like cheating when you can see the waveform in front of your eyes, but that's all right. So Borderline Highs, what is this about? I think this track is about someone who is kind of looking at not quite getting to where they want to be, whether it's happy or just happiness or just in general, and they're kind of sort of jaded by the fact that people aren't really seeing how good they are, as if what they're doing, even if it's setting the standard for how to exist, still isn't enough. It's that kind of, I think it's a song about sort of feeling jaded and kind of done with stuff. I could be wrong though. We got 17 as well off of the last CD, Passive the Rapper. Passive the Rapper.
So it goes, so it goes.
Is this like something like a breakbeat drum kit or something like that with some choir vocals in the background? Because I'm liking the combination there. That vibe is kind of sick.
And I know I was stoned at this funeral, but I don't mind. It's cause you don't cry when you're high. drinking more than usual, but I don't pry. I try, but I don't pry. Why'd they lie to me? Told me I could be anything. I wanna be 17 again with all my friends. We grew up too fast. Looking back, don't know what I'm looking at. Some days I feel like running, I feel like running away.
Oh, so this song is basically about wishing you could go back in time to when things were easier. Is that it? I can relate to that. I'm a target audience for this track. Damn, man. It's these little sort of extra double tracks or repeaters or something like that as sub layers add a lot of sort of mid-range depth to the track as well. Like as you're going through a mourning process or something like that. Like a funeral of your innocence.
Ran on water, fought my way through Amityville harbors. Scraped my knee up, fucking up the re-up. Never good at math, told him twice I don't need you. But my girl called me smart and shit. I'm guessing she forgetting all about my whip. Same old Taurus 2006. 200,000 miles and it still ain't fixed. If I was so smart, I wouldn't be in the dark. Writing these words and passing it off as art. Recording these songs in the backseat of my car. I got pretty good at pretending to be a star. Look at me, Mr. 28, wanna be 17. Always on my cell, but I hate it when that phone ring. Product of depression and some habits that's concerning. Told my dad I love him, but the church I've been deserting.
Shit. This almost sounds like a cry for help, man. I hope that Passive gets the help he needs. As someone who is getting help for depression at the moment, if you can see someone or talk to someone if you're not already, please do. Please do.
Is that a crime or my daughter's not destined for hell? Well, if so, then I go, I promise I will. Lord knows this soul was made to fail. Fail at first and then prevail. But how can I tell these fairy tales to my daughters knowing well that life is hell? And I can see it in their innocent eyes crying for help. They don't know how many times I've been crying myself. I don't want them to know, but let this water be the reason my flowers will grow. And surely my brother and surely my brother above is watching below. Why'd they lie to me? Told me I could be anything.
So he's dealing with the passing of his brother and everything like that as well. Damn.
I wanna be 17 again with all my friends. We grew up too fast. Looking back, don't know what I'm looking at. Some days I feel like running, I feel like running away.
The background vocals offer a sort of a spiritual vibe there with their harmonies and melodies that don't particularly sort of resolve themselves. It's almost like we're sort of being very introspective in that darkness, writing this letter to ourselves.
And I know I stoned at this funeral, but I don't mind. It's cause you don't cry when you're high. And you've been drinking
It's because you don't cry when you're high.
more than usual, but I don't pry. I try, but I don't pry.
Unfortunately, I think this is one of my favorite songs from Passive the Rapper. And I say unfortunately because the guys made a lot of music and this is the one which sort of speaks to me a little bit more. I think that a person's favorite music can be the one that sort of connects with them in a deep way. Up until recently, I mean, I had a piece of he talked about his 200,000 mile car or something like that he still hadn't gone fixed or something like that. And like people calling him smart and something like that. But he realizes that if he was smart, he would have done differently. I suppose that's how you know you're smart. Because you know you would do things differently if you could. That's where the intelligence is. It's being self-aware enough to know you could have done things differently. That's why people call you smart. But it also doesn't fix the fact that you made those mistakes in the first place. So you end up beating yourself up. And it's terrible, man. It's a terrible cycle, man. I really hope that Passive the Rapper can get the support that he needs. Because it's not fun. It's not fun. And he sounds like he opened himself up a lot in this track. Sounds like he's been through some considerable pain in his life. I really hope he can find help and support that he needs to get by because it's tough. It's tough out there, but I'm proud of him for opening up in this track. I think it's exactly the direction we need to go. You can talk about this kind of stuff and this music can be meaningful as long as it's authentic and as long as it's real and as long as the story is well told and interesting to people. And then finally, we've got the last track, Passive the Rapper, As-Salam Alaikum, track number 3. like the interesting sound to the percussion there alongside those again, those lady backing vocals there. It's a nice combination of elements with some melodic percussion there.
Could you tell me the secret to this life? I'm tired of fighting myself all night. And when it rains or pours, of course, the Lord ain't looking for me no more. And here I sit and taking a break from running away. Tell me, what does it take to be okay? He said, nothing quite like a nighttime shiver and a puff of a cigarette. Mind of my own, thinking about mine. Murder she wrote, you gotta reply. Well, you know there's no tomorrow, no, there's no tomorrow today. Yeah. Well, you know there's no tomorrow, no, there's no tomorrow today.
You know it's not tomorrow today.
And yeah, I said, just taking a break from running away. I don't know what it takes to be okay. Assalamu alaikum, pray to your God. I know it's hard, but in God we trust. And that'll make two of us. Assalamu alaikum is the same God. I just pray to mine inside my head. Oh, what a world we're living in.
I think it's a beautiful chorus there. His clean vocals sound incredible in the upper range there. I like the variation there. It's a really sweet track. It's a little bit louder, I think, on the mastering chain than the previous two tracks, but it's okay so far. There's no pumping or anything like that going there. I think we've still got the mix right.
Live from the tabernacle, watching Jesus battle devils. Demons and heathens, conspiracy theories all get settled. Shout out the ghetto, the rose petals planted in metal. Still it grows better than ever, cold weather won't sever.
Yeah, he's in his element now with his rapping. This sounds incredibly professional. He's polished now. Like, this is some of the best rapping I've heard from Passive the Rapper in the entirety of the time I've been reviewing his music. I don't think he needs to change a damn thing about it. It's fantastic. It's incredible.
We never together, fucking never say never. All the angels in heaven been wanting us to be better. I hope whatever's coming, take your time, wait for the morning. I got drink in my cup, that shit dirty as laundry. Please pardon me, Mother Mary.
That shit is dirty as laundry. Damn, dude. Got drink in my cup, that shit is dirty as laundry. The wordplay, dude. The wordplay is strong in this
I'm
one.
part of your army, but this paper I'm chasing, I'm making it origami. And it's too hard on my heart to try to part with this art. The Bible got verses for pastors, Lord.
Please don't cut me short. I promise I'll run into Judas, he'll be overboard. Unless of course you want his sword, she'll hand me a sword. A coward never has a choice when facing the noise.
It's interesting that we go for that strong sort of like commitment to those like heavily modulated down-tuned octave vocals there. It's great. I like it because often people sort of have like a little bit alongside the mains, but if we go down to that lower register and then come back up for the clean chorus here on the hook, smart use, great use of contrast.
Come pray to your God. I know it's hard, but in God we trust. That'll make two of us. Assalamu alaikum is the same God. I just pray to mine inside my head. Oh, what a world we're living in.
What a world we're living in. Damn. I'm gonna probably need to take some time to think about this track after I listen to, you know. So is this about finding like sort of spiritual sort of like healing in like a world where things are kind of corrupt and screwed up and everything like that? Is that it? I like how the drums kind of completely like cut out at this point and you're just left with that modulated kind of like filtered, softened piano line.
Nothing quite like a nighttime shiver and a puff of a cigarette. Mind of my own, thinking about mine. Murder she wrote, so I replied. But you know there's no tomorrow, no, there's no tomorrow today. You know there's no tomorrow, no, there's no tomorrow. Take a look in my eyes, tell me are you surprised? My lights are red.
Damn, it just completely slams here. It's a great shift into this last point. I assume that's potentially the next track or something like that.
Red so white, I'm mad at life. Stumble through hell, still I prevail. Head on the swivel, head on the carousel.
I had another listen through like the rapping sections and stuff like that, just to sort of be able to reiterate my understanding of the track. I think that it's about, yeah, it's definitely about looking at the, Passive the rapper looking at the world around him and sort of trying to sort of like see things for what they are and sort of having faith and trying to sort of find that again, find that support system, that anchor to the world, some reason to keep going. It sounds to me like Passive, hang on a minute, because this is my conclusion of these various tracks by Passive the rapper. I think that these tracks are Passive, I think it's him healing from some stuff that he's gone through. We've talked about some really difficult stuff like depression and like being alone and wanting to go back to being 17 and stuff like that. And assalamu alaikum, where like we're sort of like trying to find sort of support from above in a world that's so crazy and so like kind of insane. In addition to Borderline Highs, where we have this unfortunate scenario where it's like, oh, like I thought that I was doing well, but apparently it's just not good enough, even if I'm setting the precedent I need to. This is a human being, as I take it, who is just feeling really done with things. Like he's worked his ass off at it. And maybe he's trying to reinvent himself at the moment. But like he's struggling with the fact that he's 28 and he wishes to go back to being 17 because he's lost people around him that were very important. Like he's struggling with his own sort of sense of self. He doesn't feel like his stuff is worth it, even if he knows that he's doing okay. It's just still seemingly not enough. And it's just a scary world out there. I think these are definitely Passive the rapper talking about different concepts that are very important and authentic to him. And he does so in a way which is, I think, it's the next level from what I've heard from him previously. Each of these 3 tracks talks about a topic that is, I think a lot of people are going to relate to for different reasons. And I think that because they're so authentically told by Passive, whether he's doing his clean vocals or his sort of really articulate rapping at this point, or the different vocal overdubs or like the modulated rapping, that kind of parts that we had like in Assalamu Alaikum, it's great. Like I don't think there's really any sort of weaknesses there anymore. He's got all of those parts handled. He's stuck at it for at least a few years now, and I'm really impressed with what he's putting out. Passive the rapper, I think he's at the top of his game. Even if he may not necessarily feel that he's doing that well, as someone who's reviewed him for a while, I think he's going in the right direction now. Lots of attention to detail with the different rhythms, different phrasings, switching up the flow in different parts there. He's aware of like music theory and composition from like a vocal perspective as well as everything else, because the themes behind it, whether you had sort of those like heavy basses, the drums, the synths, sort of the guitar part, piano parts, everything like that. There's lots of little elements to enjoy in each of these motifs. Each of these tracks is in that sweet spot of the 2 to 4 minute mark as well, which is great because you don't want to sort of overextend the themes beyond that, especially when you can tell the story in that range. Really consider the listener here. I think, to be fair to Assalamu Alaikum, he had like a separate kind of song kind of bit near the end, like a bonus round, where like things sort of died out a little bit and he kind of reiterated upon a previous thought he made. So it was kind of like, yeah, 2 tracks in one, if that makes any sense. We knew when to sort of have those different drum grooves in there or those different bass lines pump there, but we also had a lot of space there and things were nicely filtered and notched in the frequency spectrum so that he had plenty of presence with his vocals, even if, because like there were also these backing vocal parts on the sides as well, like little choir bits, which were occasional or consistent as a texture. And even if his voice sounded kind of present over top of it at times, you could still hear the rest of it and understand where it all comes in. There were different types of percussion as well, which I enjoyed, like the more sort of melodic percussion and like that second time with those interesting tone drum fills. And the side chaining there was good as well, so like things kind of came in really nicely and you could hear he knew when to modulate his vocals for a little bit of that sort of extra sort of exaggerated effect and when to come back into the higher voice. Like there's a self-awareness there. There's an increase in the quality of the composition and the arrangements for each of the tracks were appropriate. I think that there was almost a sense of melancholy or bittersweet sort of throughout each of these different tracks. Although to be fair, I think the second one, 17, that was more of a grieving process than anything like that, from a musical perspective, from like a harmonic perspective. And I think that was important. It's important to put your heart on your sleeve with music, otherwise people are just going to see through it and think you're full of shit. The production, recording, and mixing, mastering on each of these tracks was done well. The quality of the vocals and the care and the filtering EQing was great. There was the third track was louder than the other two, so I'm assuming they were mastered differently, and that's fine. None of them were sort of pumping, and the compression on those tracks was good. There was the first track that we listened to, the borderline highs. I think the vocals were a little bit too present in that one, but I think maybe there just needs to be additional elements there. But it was just 0.5 dB above the rest at most. The other instruments were leveled nicely. Again, nice side chaining to the drums, nice and wide in the stereo field, especially with those like backing vocals and this sort of choir parts that we had there. Lots of interesting stuff going on with like the little bits of hi-hat and like the little A's kind of vocal sort of noises, as well as the main parts and the modulator bits. Yeah, and the repeaters and stuff. Nice reverb and delay throughout the mix, you know, very kind of eerie and atmospheric throughout. And we really slammed again the compressors in that like last part of Assalamu Alaikum with the drums, where we came in and hit like a train. So nice use of contrast there. Great use of dynamic range with the fade outs and come-ins and taking stuff away and bringing it back out. Changes perceived loudness to keep things engaging. And as I mentioned before, limiting compression was generally good without any pumping. They just were just literal different volume levels between the first and second track as opposed to the third. And that's effectively my review of Passive the Rapper's various tracks today. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please do go check out Passive's various social medias and the SoundCloud page, and stay cool and stay safe. Please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as they either help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. And I'll catch you in the next review. Spiderhands Out.